In a distant time, in the heart of ancient Iran, the land was under the heavy shadow of drought. The sky was grey and cold, with no rain in sight, and the once mighty rivers had turned into distant memories. The fields were cracked and the blossoms withered. Everywhere in this land, there was a sense of weakness and weariness. The people of this land, worried about their future and their lives, with hearts full of hope, were searching for a sign of divine mercy. Among them was King Goshtasp, the great and compassionate ruler, who carried the weight of these bitter days on his shoulders. He knew that the only way to salvation was to win the favor of the Lady of Waters and Fertility, the sacred goddess Anahita. So it was decided that he would go to her temple with a pure prayer and a heart full of hope to bring life back to his land. 7 nights and days passed. During these 7 days, Goshtasp was not like a king, but like a true worshipper, kneeling at the sacred threshold of the Lady of Waters. With his hands crossed over his chest and his eyes full of tears, but brimming with hope, he prayed. Not for conquests, nor for more soldiers, but for his people, for the farmer whose fields had burned, and for the child whose cracked hands were gazing at the sky. In those days when the sun still shone mercilessly, he asked with all his heart that justice flow in the hearts of the people, that oppression vanish and that solidarity breathe new life into the land. Each night, Goshtasp looked up at the cloudless sky, and with every star he whispered, "O blessed Lady, hear me, not for myself, but for those who silently suffer." At night, a gentle breeze would blow across his face, and he felt that Anahita, the gentle Lady of Waters, was drawing closer to him step by step, slowly and surely. With each passing day, Goshtasp's heart grew lighter. It seemed that he no longer needed to prove anything, he just had to be sincere. And at the end of the 7th night, when the temple had fallen into sacred silence and the last star shone on the horizon, Goshtasp, with a gaze full of surrender and trust, whispered, "If this heart is pure, if this prayer is acceptable, O Anahita, show me that one can still have faith in the mercy of the heavens." And suddenly, a soft light illuminated the temple. It was not from the sun, nor from a torch, but from somewhere beyond. A voice, soft and gentle, like the whisper of a living spring, echoed in the air. "O King, with a true heart, your voice has reached me. You knocked on the door of the heavens with humility and sincerity, and the doors that were closed to others have been opened for you." The light grew brighter, and from within it appeared a lady cloaked in silver mist, her face as pure as the first drop of rain. Her eyes were calm but penetrating. In her gaze was both compassion and power, both love and holiness. Anahita, the goddess of waters, stood before the king who had set aside his pride. She continued, "Goshtasp, you did not pray for yourself, but for the people of your land. Not out of personal need, but from the depth of your faith you called upon me. And now I make a promise to you. As long as truth sits upon your throne, and justice flows in the hearts of your people, the waters will return, and blessings will forever be the guest of this land." Goshtasp bowed his head. Tears welled up in his eyes, not out of fear, but from a peacefulness like liberation. And Anahita, with a warm and peaceful light, slowly disappeared into the mist. But her voice still echoed in the temple, "Your kingship will now be judged by truth." And at that moment, the soft sound of raindrops, the first rain after months, was heard from the stone roof of the temple. At that moment, Goshtasp stepped out of the temple. The earth was still dry, but in his heart, a spring had begun to flow. His steps were slow, yet filled with certainty. He knew that meeting with Anahita was not just a miracle, it was a responsibility greater than the crown and throne. With the sunrise, the king returned to his palace, but he was no longer the king with a crown. He wore simple clothes, a calm look rested on his face, and his voice now carried the warmth of awareness. He sat on the throne, not as the ruler of his people, but as a servant of truth. His first command astounded the troubled ones. "From today, my command is the command of Anahita. Oppression must end. Hearts must be as pure as clear water." Dishonest officials were removed from office, the doors of justice were opened to the people, and the land's great ones were called to truth and kindness. In the markets, people spoke of justice. In homes, mothers' prayers for peace and blessings rose, and in the hearts of the people a light slowly began to sprout, hope. Then, without any shout or storm, clouds appeared from the distance. The sky, once grey, took on a new hue, and the first drop of rain, gently fell upon a dry branch, the second one upon the dusty roof of a house, and then a gentle, kind, and pure rain arrived. The people looked to the sky, raised their hands, and tears mingled with the raindrops. That day the people knew. Prayer only settles in the heart when justice flows like rain. And this was the story of Anahita and King Goshtasp, a story of faith, humility, and justice, about how a pure prayer and a right decision can change the fate of a land. Perhaps today we too find ourselves in the midst of droughts, not just the drought of water, but the drought of love, truth, and solidarity. Perhaps we are still waiting for the rain to come, but the rain will only return when our hearts are as pure and clear as a spring. Let us remember, Anahita, the goddess of waters, lives in the heart of every awakened human and every sincere intention. So if one day the sky feels gloomy, remember, perhaps it's time for prayer. Thank you for joining me up to this point in the video. I hope you enjoyed it. To support me, all you need to do is subscribe to my channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. There's nothing else left to say, so until the next video, farewell.